this past week, I tried to sell my works at my local community marketplace. I know I mentioned that I was going to take a break from painting, but I also forgot I had already signed up for this a month prior. I've been to 2 of these markets before, neither really finding success, and I think in hindsight it's for good reason. At my first marketplace event, I was merely trying to get a feel for what it was like. I didn't expect to sell anything, as I hear that's a pretty common trend for artists at these events. You know, they get ready, they go, and they kind of just don't sell anything. I had my recently painted Four Seasons collections on display for this first year. My many faces of Appa the Pug, and fan art as a way to sort of display my 3 areas of focus in the hopes of snagging some commissions. The thing I remember most about that experience was the amount of people saying how good everything looked or how real they looked. And that's nice and all, but I don't really care for pretty words. I handed a lot of my business cards out and had people say they would contact me later for pet portraits, but none of those panned out. Perhaps the price was too high, considering the starting price for the paintings were $300 for an 11x14, which I will still stand by because I kind of just like the $2 per square inch model that I've heard from other artists. And I mean, they usually also match the time investment in pieces under 24x30. But perhaps the real issue was I didn't have any impulse buys at my stand. And by that I mean just something you can sort of look at and be, oh, that's a cute little, I don't know, anything. Oh, it's like it's a succulent or a little plant or something. You know, things people just kind of pay a couple bucks for, $5, $10, $20, whatever. Just buy that and walk away. So I didn't have any of that. And obviously the answer to that is prints, but getting there. So the next year, I had my favorite, I've said it many times before, but I'll keep saying it, Puggy Swing was on display, and some of my other fine art that had Gigli prints made to sell. And I think I had them for about $50 or $60, considering I think it was $40. I think it's $40, yeah, to, I'm forgetting now, to make those prints. And I don't remember if that even included shipping, but I was making very little profit on them if I were to sell them. And mixed in with those were a lot of my Inktober pieces involving a lot of Sumie works. I still didn't really know how to price anything that small though, considering those pieces could take, 4+ hours at a time, even for the stuff that looks simple. I mean, here, this apple took me around 4.5 hours to make. And instead of trying some specific approach to pricing at the time, I just sort of wanted to make art that I thought would be cheap. And I saw a print for a Sumie swirl online for $60, so I thought $60 would seem like a deal for an actual hand-painted work. And that price point lost me a sale. I remember someone was interested in my Sumie works, but once I said the price, they politely shifted the conversation, took a card, and left. And obviously when they left, I knew I was never going to hear from them again. I also passed out many business cards that year, maybe 60 plus, but received no contacts later. So, now we come to last week. For this year, my mindset shifted one more time. About a week or two before the event, almost immediately after I finished the last video and said I wasn't going to be painting for the time being, I had an email that that told me what my booth number was, and I completely forgot I had signed up for this thing. So I was like, I guess I'm going back into the field, but I actually wanted to make money this time. I wanted to sell something. I wanted to have a success story. So at least for this video, so I can sort of give advice on what worked. And I've always sort of known what would look like something that would sell at a marketplace, and what was relatively easy to make. The price point I had in mind was $25 and under. For me, that is incredibly cheap for a painting and an obvious steal. But that's me. I also thought if I had something around that price, it would fit the price point of a marketplace. No one is trying to buy fine art at a community marketplace. I mean, maybe someone out there is, but so far from what I've seen and the many I've gone to, I don't think most people are trying to buy some, big piece of work to fit over their mantle. So I went to work hoping this would be the time I was going to sell. My goal was only like 3 things. I just want to sell 3 things, very small. And I thought this would be the time I was going to at least do that, because 3 things is better than 0 things. So to make works that were under $25, or $25 under, I had the mindset of needing to produce at a rate of 2 or more paintings per hour. And I achieved this by making art in batches. And I'm only making simple works, usually with a single subject. I'm sure this isn't any revelation to any of you, but maybe this could help you. I also thought about the spaces some of these would work in, be it on the wall or in the kitchen. And I produced works which I think people would describe as the most dreaded compliment, for me at least, cute. Because, if someone says something's cute, they don't give that thing any respect. So usually I try to avoid that, but this time I was trying to sell, and that was the goal, make some cute little things for people to buy. So yeah, I didn't mind making cute art this time, and I just wanted to sell since, let's be honest, I need the money, and I wanted to be able to document that for this video, the success, like I said earlier. The results were different than I expected. So I arrived there at 7 a.m. getting maybe 3 hours of sleep because my sleep schedule is just catastrophic. In fact, I think I am recording this right now at 3:30 a.m. Sorry, 3:29 a.m. Let's be precise. And so yeah, I had maybe 3 hours of sleep that day. The winds were crazy. The tent I had was blowing, and my products initially were also not really hanging on their racks. They were flying around a little bit. But after some frustration working that setup, I managed to get everything under control. So yeah, and the winds, they finally decided to give me a break and settle down when it got a little later on. So that was good. And after everything was set up, people began walking around. So I think the second person that walked by came in and began looking with his mother at all the paintings. And they were really interested in one of the fruit paintings. Specifically, I think it was this one. Immediately, I realized the price point was good. I also think by making it large, upfront, and noticeable, it eliminated a major problem that I think I've had a couple other times. And I think at marketplaces, I feel like this is a problem other people might also have. Maybe everyone else has solved it but me, but, third time's the charm, is that most people do not want to ask for prices because it sort of creates a minor investment. Once they ask, they'll feel more obliged to purchase, and people don't want to feel that pressure. So rather than ask, they just move on. The other problem is that they have a price in their head for how much they think a piece of art is worth versus how much you, the artist, the one who took the time to buy the supplies, the canvas, plan the composition, paint everything, you put care into this, or at least time and effort, you probably have a different price point in your head than that person. And if theirs is lower, they won't buy. And just so you know, their price is always lower, unless they're an artist themselves. I don't think the average person really has any idea how much work it takes to make anything, and honestly, they probably don't care. They just want something they like. I remember that another YouTuber, Studio Slew, he talked about how he had his own personal gallery, and he had some works out that he priced pretty high. And I'm sure it took him a lot of time to do, and it took him lots of years to learn these skills and all that. I think he said, and I agree with him on this, that it's still a small size. So if someone's going to be spending a lot of money, they want to make sure that whatever they're buying is big. And inversely, if they're buying something small, they just don't think they should be spending that much money on small things. So don't put a lot of effort into something small, I guess, if you're trying to sell at a marketplace. Unless you're established, then, you can do whatever you want. I mean, Picasso drawing on napkins and charging crazy money for it. But I'm not Picasso. I'm just some random guy trying to make a little bit of money. So now I knew that the problem was not price, but rather, to my complete surprise, it was size. So this man and his mother, they really wanted the fruit. And I don't speak Spanish, so I don't really know what he was saying to his mother, but they're kind of going back and forth. And the guy kept going to the fruit, and the mom seemed to be kind of stonewalled. And then he looked, then he asked me, like, do I have anything smaller? And FYI, these fruits were 11 by 14, so not very big. And I was a little baffled, or maybe not baffled, I was just kind of surprised that they wanted something smaller. 11 by 14 is, to me, not that large, but I do recall someone else wanting just a very, very small square. I'm forgetting the size now. I think it was a 5 by 5. And they were like, yeah, I don't want anything big. Like, I think maybe they also at the time said 11 by 14, maybe a little larger. And to me, that's small because I work with 24 by 30s, 40 by 30s, large sizes. And these people wanted little squares, which I usually don't work with. Something that's small, you can't really do much with for a creative expression. But, yeah, that was something I didn't expect. So I directed him to 5 by 5 flowers because I did have something that's small. And I priced them at $10. And his mother didn't seem too interested in the flowers, which, I mean, at $10 to me was a pretty good deal considering 2 of them really it took me like an hour for this green clover, and the sunflower took me an hour, so it took longer to make those than it did the fruit, funnily enough. And $10 I thought was very fair, but yeah, they passed on that. So after they walked away, there was one more guy that came around after, and he was far more concerned with talking about how he was a true artist. I remember him saying that because he seemed sort of to be like very, not really someone living in the same world as anyone else. He would kind of walk around like this and, yes, I'm a true artist. I don't do this. That's how he talked. I hope that doesn't come off as rude. I don't mean to mock him. I'm just, Anyway, he always talked about, he was talking about how he was a true artist and how he never sells his originals, only prints through his wife's work, and how he would never come to a fair to sell anything. Then he took out his phone and he started showing me like what he did, and it just seemed like he wanted to talk. He definitely wasn't trying to sell me anything, but he was like going through how like, he's just so blessed in this life, and these are the things I do, and my daughters would hate if I sold my work. And that's kind of what he was doing, mostly rambling, and he didn't even seem like he was some really old guy, because I do know customers, I've had that before, people kind of just want to talk about their experiences, like they just kind of need someone to talk to, and I guess I'm the guy. So I had him, he showed up, and that was about it, and then he left. I think I had maybe a couple other people show up and look at things, but it was only like, I think under 5, maybe at most 5. And that was crazy because my last 2 fairs had hundreds of people walking by, and this one, same location, I saw maybe a dozen or so in total. It was just a completely dead market, and it's just really unfortunate because I think I was completely ready this time. I had the right mindset for what to make and how to price everything, but no one was around for Cinco de Mayo weekend. And maybe everyone was recovering from a hangover. Maybe everyone already had Mother's Day gifts. I don't know, but it was just really unfortunate. And, there was one other person. I forgot. I did have one other customer before the True Artist guy. That person was a mother and her two daughters. Yeah, three daughters, and they were just looking around, and one of the daughters wanted one of my flowers because they like the color purple. So they $10. They bought that one, and that was that. So I really wanted to document some success for you guys, whoever's watching this, but this was another mostly failed marketplace. And I have to say mostly because I did sell my first item ever here. So, there's that. But $10 can't really cover a real canvas. My 18 by 24 canvases, I think, are $35. I usually buy them on sale, or, buy one, get one. So I think they're $30. But yeah, $10 can't cover any of my canvases and can barely cover one of those Super Saver Pack at Michael's. I do think, though, that even without any noticeable success, my approach was correct. And if you are struggling to sell at marketplaces or fairs, try something similar to what I did. And I know it's a little weird to say that after me also saying I didn't sell anything, but I think this was a volume problem, not so much a product problem, if that makes sense. I would say try pricing everything around that $25 and under, and then sort of produce works that can be done in under an hour. How much do you think you're worth? If you're like, I'm a $60 an hour person, see if you can make 3 things at one time. I mean, I certainly was able to do that once I started more of a producing them in batches of 3, where I would just paint 3 canvases the same color so I could do it all at one time. And you can see in the video that's what I was doing there. And if you can do that, then you only really need good volume of people. And I think you'll find some success doing that for side hustle money. Obviously, I don't think this would, of course, cover nearly enough for a full-time artist. And entry fees into some of these fairs can be pretty exorbitant. I remember I was going to do one last year, but I think it was $200 or $300 just to enter. And I didn't even have these cheap product mindsets at the time. So I knew for sure that it was basically just paying $300 to sit somewhere for a few hours. And I wasn't going to make any money, so I didn't do that one. But if you can find a free one, or believe you can sell enough, to make up for the price, then I think you should try it out. I am wishing you all the luck in your future endeavors, especially since you listened this far in the video. You deserve all the luck. I appreciate you. But if any of you are interested in anything I showed today, you can message me. I'm going to probably put them up on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, but I wasn't able to figure that out, or I just didn't have the time to do that before the making of this video. So for now, if you just want a cheap little, a cute art piece to put on your wall, or perhaps as a gift for someone, or maybe just with some kitchen art, you can message me and I'll still keep that price of $25 for a hand-painted piece of whatever you saw today. And for any of my fine art or commissions, you can go to my website at davidsaylorart.com. And if you just want to support me, I mean, that's even better. So spread the word also works, I guess. It does. Word of mouth is very powerful. So yeah, if you're just looking to support me, those are some options. Anyway, until next time, thanks for listening.